Hey guys, this is Pedro back with another interview covering this time VCT America Stage 2 pre-event interview. For this occasion, I have here with me once again Rooney of Cloud9, of course, one of the teams that will be taking part in the stage and will be looking to qualify for at the end of the season champions. Rooney, really appreciate you taking the time once again and starting off. How have you been spending your break? What's been the vibes like in the Rooney camp?
Well, we've been actually pretty hardworking this little break. We didn't really take much time off. Not many days off either. Kind of just practicing, making sure that we're ready for the next split. We do a lot of team activities together and hang out and get food and whatnot after practice. So the vibes are all good. The practice has been good. We're ready.
Exactly what have going a little bit into detail onto like the exercises within the team. Of course, coming off of a pretty, I would say, disappointing early playoff elimination at the hands of G2, or some of the things that the team has kind of been focusing on in terms of exercises and everything else of that juncture.
I mean, we knew that it was a game we should have won. It was just a tough day, a bad day for us, and it was a bad day to have a bad day. Especially with it being single elim. But our team's pretty good at bouncing back. It only took like that night, and then we were back to normal, back on routine. Nothing really changes much, and within the camp, we're just practicing and hanging out together. We all live together, so we're always around each other and having a good time and doing things together. So not much changed, to be honest.
And just so I can give a quick understanding on that, exactly how long have you guys kind of been practicing before the start of the stage? Was it literally just like, okay, you guys coming off of loss, give it like a few weeks, and then basically practicing for around 2 months or anything like that?
Yeah, I think we took about it was like a little like 10 days off or something like that, because there wasn't really any teams practicing. All the teams were gone, so there wasn't really much to, scrim, but as soon as teams started coming back and the tier 2 teams started playing again, we started scrimming again. So we took about I think it was like 10 days, after the loss, and then since then have been basically 1 day off a week, practicing, you know, thoroughly, making sure that we don't make the same mistake.
Yeah, and going a little bit back onto said mistakes and just covering the once again that loss to G2. I mean, now that you kind of had a few months to reflect on that series, what do you think was the biggest issue that faced that team or faced you guys against G2 that just kind of led to that?
I mean, to be honest, like, the way we play is, like, our style. We just had a bad day to play our style. We're very, like, free and, uh, like, we like taking duels, taking fights, and things just weren't going our way that day. So it was just, like I said earlier, just a bad day to have a bad day. Um, Not really too much to look into besides fixing up some, uh, like, basic fundamentals, but other than that, it's kinda just chalked down to we played rough that day when they played well. So it's kind of the game of Valorant. As I've always said, it's like who shows up that day is gonna win. So they showed up better than we did.
Oh, yeah, for sure, for sure. And even though like it came over the top of a pretty impressive regular season showing from you guys, finishing off with a record of 5-1, and that kind of put you guys in pole position, almost at pole position in the overall table at the start of stage two, which just leaves you around the position of just needing a few wins to qualify for playoffs. Two-parter question for this one. Your thoughts on just the format from transitioning from group stage to now just basically going transit or basically going taking your records to the overall table for stage two. What are your thoughts on that? And also on top of that, how you guys kind of looking at your position at the top with the start of the season and how that might kind of affect you guys, mental wise or anything like that.
I mean, I'm not sure there's many people that like the format. I'm glad that they are at least, bringing the records over from split one because it kinda resembles last year's season where it was just one everyone played each team once and then playoffs. So at least, the records are carrying over towards the end of the season. I think last year we ended, like, 8-1 by the end of the season. So, this season, we're hoping to do something similar. Obviously, there's an extra team, so it would be, 9-1 now. Um, but yeah, I'm glad that they put the record over. I think that it makes the most sense towards the final standings of the records of all the teams. So, I mean, it also benefits us because we put ourselves in a good spot. Some other teams might complain about it because there was a Masters in the middle of it, which kind of doesn't make too much sense. But I mean, the overall standings at the end is well. It's just unfortunate for some teams like Furia and MIBR that kinda put themselves in a rough spot to make playoffs because of the first split.
Oh, for sure, and yeah, like putting yourselves at that position as a result of a pretty good showing in stage one does give you guys a bit of a cushion at the start of stage two, and um, you kind of mentioned a little bit also in your recent answer about how kind of we're seeing a similar kind of showing within this team last year, and how you guys finished with another similar regular season performance in 8-1 record and that stuff and all of that juncture and anything like that. As we're approaching the middle part, or we're already past the mid part of the season, how do you kind of compare where the team was at? Um, in the regular season last year to now this year, and just having to try to maintain this consistent form in the regular season, where you kind of see the comparisons in within those two teams.
Um, I'd say this team is a little bit more confident. Um, Obviously, last year we had 2 rookies between myself and Jake, and then this year, we have Moose. So we have a little bit more experience on this team. It's obviously just a little bit, more, but I think as long as we just continue doing what we're doing into playoffs, we'll be fine. Last year, we kinda changed things up a little bit too much, and it threw us off, so everyone on the team's confident. Everyone's, trusting each other. So we just need to keep doing what we're doing and play every game like it's the finals. So
What do you think is the biggest obstacle that you feel is gonna face, or you feel is going to Okay, let me say it again. What do you think is the biggest obstacle that the team will have to face in stage two, and then later on in playoffs, should you guys make it there?
um, I think it's just going to be the nerves for the new guys. It's obviously Moose's first time on stage. Oxy had some preseason events in Korea and Colombia and whatnot, so he's been on stage, but he still gets a little nervous when we're in big positions, and it'll show. So it's just kind of relaxing the nerves and playing it as we normally would, or as we like to say, just play it like it's a scrim.
Hmm. And as a result of having to play all the teams from the Omega group, now for this occasion, you're going to be facing the teams within your group, the Alpha group, and I would say it's a pretty tough schedule. An usual fan would look at and say, "Damn, this is pretty tough." I mean, I'll just read it out to you: G2, Sentinels, NRG, and True. So pretty a quartet of very good teams. You know, both of them, two of them, um, just reached top three in Masters Shanghai, and then the previous one, and then one of them actually won Masters Madrid. How do you kind of look at the schedule for this team, and who do you kind of look at as your toughest opponent?
It's gonna be tough. They're all good teams. I mean, G2 obviously just placed well. Sentinels winning Masters. NRG with the new pickups. Similar team to last year. And Crew, they look really good right now, really confident. So, assuming that they can continue the confidence that they had in the first split, I think the hardest teams are probably going to be Crew and probably G2. I mean, they're all tough teams. They're all good players, and we're friends with all of them. So they'll all be fun games for sure. I don't think any of them are much harder than another. I think only one that stands out is Crew because they're not a North American team, so they have a little different style than we do. So adjusting to that style is going to be the one difficult thing.
Interesting that you brought up Crew. I mean, I would assume that you would pick one of the North American teams, but you put in Crew. I mean, like, what exactly is that style that kind of makes it difficult for yourself to kind of counter, if I may ask?
I'd say North American teams have a very different style in the sense that like everyone's very thought through, util based. Like it- the game is a little bit slower paced, and then when you get into like other regions, they play a little different style of a game. And Crew specifically, they kind of just will be in your face and just kind of run at you and swing when you don't expect them to because you're used to people playing it slower and using utility. So they're just a little more willing to take their timings and take risks where North American teams usually won't.
Shades of Pacific, is that kind of what it is for Crew?
Say that again.
Is it like Shades of Pacific with Crew's playstyle?
Yeah. I mean, we have a similar play style as well. We like to do the extra risks and whatnot. So that's why it's going to be a fun one because it's going to be who shows up that day,
Oh
kind of
yeah,
like
for sure.
the paper Rex style.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. One other thing that I want to touch upon is just the recent changes to the game. And when I say that, I do talk about Haven returning. I believe it hasn't been officially slotted into the map pool, but I believe it might be entering that sometime in the future. And then also that neon buffs and a pretty big attention towards ISO and just its presence in solo queue and whether that will transition over to the pro level. What's your opinion on the changes to the game ahead of the split?
They definitely switch it up. That's for sure. I would imagine a lot of teams are going to go towards neon. I don't think ISO will be getting played in pro play very much. He kind of dominating ranked right now, but it's very different the team play. But neon, on the other hand, kind of looking like the go-to. I think most teams will be running neon on most maps. Um, I'm not sure how to adjust or change it to make it any different, but that's going to be the new meta, and it's going to look very different to ranked. Ranked right now, everyone's locking neon, ISO, Reyna, Clove, and then pro play is going to be none of the above except for maybe neon, and then uh, it's going to look like two different games.
Oh, for sure. We're definitely gonna be anticipating what Cloud9's going to show at the start of the stage. And so, with that, so I'm gonna wrap up the interview. Thank you so much, Rooney, for once again for making this happen, giving me the time, just answering or asking you all these questions. And yeah, best of luck goes to you for the start of the season.
Thank you. Thank you.